It's your boy Young Love, I give him that time. Pancho leg stay the Panchi America, Banyi Dwal, Pancho leg stay the Panchi America, Banyi Dwal, Ban walk on the lake, Kankara water no watching, Oga level leg, Gear Pow, leg, Panda with Yay, Panchi America, Banya Dwal, Vano, Chingatongo Pandon, could you ever buy a check out, Papu Panda Jiro, what they be Dwal venting. The Panchi America, Banyi Dwal, Pancha leg stay the Panchi America, Banyi Dwal, Ban walk on the lake, Kankara water no watching, Oga level leg, Gear Pow, leg, Panda with Yay, Panchi America, Banya Dwal, Vano, Chingatongo Pandon, could you ever buy a check out, Paku Panda Jiro, what they be Dwal venting.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are tuning in. Welcome to Lagos State Media once again. And I would like to welcome all our audience. And please, I request all of you to share this video as much as you can tonight or this evening, along with our brother Anthony Makuac, and in the panels along also with our brother, the founder, Benson Mwasi, is here as well in the studio. Our brother, Michael Manak, and our brother, Mike Yuang, and brother, Jacob Awan Matiang. And in the studio, along my team, mate Abraham Adin Majak, we will take you on with this very special show. Before we start the show, I would like to play a clip that we see this reception, how it was done, was really very amazing. And let's watch.
That's the reason to have a party, honestly, and celebrating legacy. Thank you so much for what you did. It was really an inspiration point. And I know it was actually Sarah, I think, who told me, who first sort of sent me a message to tell me the story. And if any of you missed the actual story because we didn't explain enough, please, talk to Benson, talk to Abraham and Samuel and the colleagues, because it's an amazing story. It's a beautiful story, which hopefully ends well, very well for everyone concerned. And I think it's so good. We'll probably have a book one day or a film about it. So I can start thinking about who's going to play your part. But it's wonderful. It really is. It's an inspiration. It's an inspiration for both humanitarians who's life's work, trying to help the people. So thank you for that inspiration. And I believe we have a little.
That we prepare for Council for being a good Samaritan and showing that kind of hospitality to our colleague, Mr. Anthony Makuac. So,
all you, all of us, in recognition of what
Get this guy just work in the stretcher of the road. Sometimes then I have to ask him, my friend. Sometimes even he used to ask me. He used to ask me. He used to ask for 50 bob for a food. 50 bob, yeah. Then sometimes I say, okay, we give it some is 20, 50, for almost 1 week. Then later, I asked my wife, this guy is always outside here, outside the house, asking for money. This guy is from where? Then my wife told me, this guy is from South Africa. Relax, guys. This guy can be he's a footballer. And then he had a fracture, then he so he stayed in the hospital for almost 8 months. There was no one even to do the follow-up. Later, the guy was released, and he was just sleeping outside the banana. Then what happened until he came to our center. When I tried to ask him, he said, my friend, I just told him what to call Musalaka here. I didn't know where he was going. I came to her at that time with this area. Then I now what I would do about this guy. I had a single envelope, I don't know how, but I'm going to do. I'm going to give this don't have to miss them here. It'll be like our brother. So I said with that guy, all those big guns was 29 when I was just outside. Then I got ready, I'm just giving a good story. Then after I was really paying attention, after I was talking about someone who was done this guy passed away in somebody. Yes. Your voice. This guy is in my house. Then I'm like, how am I going to talk to this guy? So my wife is there. Bravo! I'm here. If is around, then we have to then I get one of my wife. Let I'm going to know that I'm going to do your wife. Tell your wife that the photo so that I can send the photo so that I can know this is the real thing. Then really my wife the photo sent to WhatsApp. Then my wife took a photo, he sent me a photo on WhatsApp. Abraham, we can. I showed Abraham. Abraham said, "This is the very guy you are looking for." Then from there, Abraham said, "No, what you're going to do? Make sure they were all there. I'm going to send some guys from Nairobi to go to embrace Mombasa." Then the two guys go to Mombasa. They went and confirmed this thing. Really, this is the guy. So that's how I could stay with that guy up to last month. Now he's now in the road. Maybe next month I'll be going back to Mombasa to say bye to the what we share is the guy who comes
Ye bada dana pola gog nong panbu. Dan kilo ajikli uyudi jidi jidiyanga. Bayagali uyudi.
All right. Thank you so much. Then both the fall off, Anthony Makuac and Michael Banak. Abraham, welcome the guests to the studio.
Okay, I think she sent us a WhatsApp number for Marco to send. Did you see that number, Isaac, to send the link to them? So thank you guys for coming in. For those of you who are watching Clubhouse, in Facebook and YouTube, start sharing the video. This today is a special show to welcome our comrade, our colleague, Anthony Makuac, and also the group that organizing group committee that lead this event in Nairobi, Kenya. So I would like to welcome them to the Lake State Media. For being said, please start. I know some of the members supposed to be in this show today. Some of them are having a network difficulties. So let us begin, Isaac. So let us give a chance to the rest, Jacob and Mach and Ngor, to introduce themselves while we're waiting for Marco and Benson and the other guys to join us. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Abraham. We'll go straight to our panels. Mach will pick up from there to introduce himself and greet the audience while I'm preparing for Mach Yuang for this number to send through the WhatsApp. Go ahead.
Good evening, Lake State Media. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Mach Anyang Yuang. For the people who may not know me well, I'm glad to be here. I'm also glad to be part of this committee, Nairobi base. We have our colleague also online, Reverend Jacob Awan Mathiang is part of this team. Unfortunately, our brother Valentino Chag was not able to join us, and Marco and Makuac are still facing a problem, but they will join. We have Bishop Abraham Yell send his apologies. He is also not going to be able to join us today, but he look forward for another opportunity. We have all the other members in Nairobi, and we will update them on this development. So thank you, Lake State Media. Much appreciated for your time and effort to make this interview possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, Isaac.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sending the
Okay,
link to.
thank you, brother Mike. Let us move to Jacob Awan. Hold on.
Thank you, Leg State Media and the colleagues on the show. Today is a very important day, and I'm glad to be part of the team. I'm Jacob Awan Matiang, a former member of Red Army. I was in Group 7 in the team of Peñido, where Anthony was also a member in Group 1. So, member of the Nairobi team who were organizing the receptions of our brother Anthony Makuac. So thank you for hosting us tonight, and we are glad to be joined by many of our colleagues who were our former comrades in the Red Army, and also our colleagues who have listened to this important event that we have found our brother. Thank you.
Thank you, brother Jacob. And the next online is brother Ngor. Ngor Achep, pardon. So Ngor Achep, can you hear me? Ngor is with Benson. So Ngor, if you can hear my voice, please welcome and introduce yourself, and then let our guest Benson introduce himself too. Ngor, can you hear me? Unmute your mic. Okay, it seems like they're pausing, Isaac. Okay, while we Ngor, can you hear me?
Can you hear us, Ngor? Unmute yourself. Yes.
Yes, I'm getting you. I'm getting you now.
It's your turn to greet people. Greet us and the audience. Give chance also to Benson to greet our audience.
Okay. Thank you, Leg State Media and the colleagues from across the globe who have turned up tonight for this talk show about our colleagues, Mr. Anthony Makuac. You know, it was through my discussion with the brother Benson Muwasi that the whereabouts of Anthony Makuac was known. So I'm privileged today to talk to Lake State media. The video that you saw on the clip there is for Jamjang. That was yesterday when we honored not Anthony, but when we honored Benson Muwasi for his hospitality and keeping sheltering Mr. Anthony Makuac for all these years until on the second when yesterday for showing that spirit of humanity and hospitality and winning, the title of a good Samaritan in South Sudan. So now let me give this opportunity to Benson Mwasi to say hi to you and introduce himself to you. So Benson, you are welcome.
How are you, my brothers of Lake State Media and the other colleagues? I say jambo to all of you, and I'm very much happy to give me this chance so that at least I can talk with you and some other guys. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, colleague. Over to you now.
Thank you so much. I will go straight to our brother and a colleague, Michael Manak.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
Hello, colleague. Are you getting
Hello,
us?
Yes,
Yes.
I'm getting you. You're hearing me, right?
Yeah, we're hearing you. Go ahead, Michael.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I would like to thank Lake State Media for the hospitality that you have accorded us, and a tremendous job that you guys are doing to the people of South Sudan and those of Lake State in particular. I'm also honored to join you to discuss my relationship with Brother Anthony as a colleague, as a childhood friend, as a comrade, as a member of the Red Army. So it's my pleasure and an honor to be here with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The thing you are telling you guys is not working.
It is working. What type of phone are you?
I can see Anthony. Anthony has joined.
Okay, Anthony Makuac is here. So, okay.
Oppo, yeah, Oppo.
Yeah, use follow the procedures through the Facebook account.
Yes. It totally refused. Durkwal, we can see you.
Okay, Durkwal, you need to close the other phone you are on now. Okay, dude, can you hear us?
You guys are mute. Agany and Durkwal, you are mute. You can unmute, yes.
Yeah, you will use this phone, eh?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, use this phone. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, you can do yourself, Durkwal, and then bring Anthony on the camera.
The camera went dark, dude. Can you hear us? Yes.
Yes, yes.
Hello, Anthony.
Yes.
Yeah, welcome to Lake State Media, brother.
Yes, evening.
Evening to you. How are you?
Yeah.
Oh, they follow.
How do you do there?
Yeah, doing good, thank you.
Okay. Even me, I'm doing well. Nothing bad.
We thank God, mate. We're really very proud of you, and we're very, very happy to see you and hear your voice. We thank God for that. Thank you so much. And we have to thank Benson as well.
Yeah.
Thank you, Anthony Makuac, for wonderful coming in. And for those of you who are watching Special Jammer, Anthony Makuac is here. You guys saw him. See him in the studio right now. And I see a lot of Jammer are writing. They are requesting to come in the studio. So for this today, in the studio with us is one special person who hosts Anthony for the last 27 years. So this is on behalf of Lake State Media and on behalf of South Sudanese, we thank him for the wonderful that he did. Keep our brother, our colleague, our comrade, Anthony Makuac, for the last 27 years. And also in the studio we have the Makuac former players are here, like Michael Bano is here, and the other their former players, they could not make it, but the Sakacho will be host again. because some part of the world there in the world is at night. So they will come to the next show and then they will talk about the experience, how Anthony and them played during Ethiopia and Kakuma. So this is a special thank you to our brother Benson. This is a good thing. And for those of you who are watching, we put down the link in public. You can click that and come. So that I will yield microphone back to Isaac and then we can start. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Abraham. And I would like to say thank you to all the organized team of Makuac support and all the audience, followers of the Lagos State media, the old Red Armies, and the old friends of Rumbek too, Komboni, Anthony. They all greet you a lot. I'm one of them. We go together in Rumbek too, Komboni, and we live neighborhood in Elatamarjet. By that time in 1980s, before we went to the bush. So we used to play Kura Sharabat and Letio before Medanalala with those of Samuel where we're supposed to come in, but it's very late for us here in Australia. It's now morning hours, it's 4 a.m. So on the next show, Samuel Wet and Mabur Majur, who is Lad Majur, those of David Amor, they will join us in the show, and more colleagues, the old colleagues, they are here. And everybody is really very, very joyful to see you and hear that you are still working and happy and alive. That's the thing that we thank God for it. And we really privileged to take this opportunity to thank the person who stays with you, who sheltered you for the last 27 years. Benson is, there's no how I can express the joy and happiness to you and your family for what you have done. So only God will reward you more than what we can say to you. I will give it back the microphone to you guys in the studio, all the Jesh Hammer colleagues to weigh in your remarks. I will start with Abuna Jacob Wan Matiang, Fursa Biakudu. Fadal. Unmute yourself, Abuna. Yep.
It seems we lost Reverend Jacob. Hello, Reverend Jacob. Are you?
Thank you, colleagues. Yes, I think this one was misbehaving, but I'm back now. Colleague on the shows and the Lagos State media who have hosted us this tonight, I'm much thankful to all of you, and especially thank Almighty God for the work that He has done. We, the members of the former Red Army, we knew Anthony Makuac from the earliest days, especially when we were in Peñudo. Anthony is someone who is known to all of us. I think nobody who was in Peñudo by then who don't know Anthony Makuac. And when we came to Kakuma, we still knew Anthony Makuac and he was with us. Our brother Anthony, the history that we had by then, that is no longer with us in the world. But thank to the Almighty God that today we can talk and we can speak while living together with our brother Anthony. It's a great joy to all of us. And it's a very big thanks to Brother Benson's and his family, who has shown the great hospitality by offering our brother a very good place for him to be for those years. I will not, my message to all of us, we the members of the former Red Army and the colleague who are together with us and everybody, this is a great joy in our country. You know, in the Bible, there was a history of someone who has disappeared from the family. And then when he decided to return back, the father was saying that our brother is like these sons, is like he was nowhere to be found, but he's now alive. So Anthony is alive now with us, and is a great joy to all of us. So I'm very thankful to the Almighty God, and I appreciate the hospitality that was shown by our brother Benson's. And I ask our members to join hand together to support our brother Anthony to recover his life back, especially the health condition that he's in is not that good. As we have seen, the people who welcome him in Nairobi, his leg is not in good conditions, and his health-wise need a lot of support. And we need to unite him back to his family members. So this one requires our support. And I would request and appeal to everybody that let us join our hand together, and whatever little that you had, support, bring in your support, join the colleague, and we support our brother Anthony. Let's support our brother Anthony Makuac, because this is a very great man. He's an icon in the Red Army, and he's an icon also in our country because he's a very important person. I think if Anthony was with us in the country, he would have been one of the very strong players now in our teams, and our team would have been one of the stars in the world. I know we have a very great team in the Republic of South Sudan. If I remember football very well, it's called stars. I remember that word when I used to watch the football. So let's support our brother Anthony with whatever we can. This is my message to all of us. And I'm also thankful to the Lagos State media by organizing this important show tonight, so that we are able now to listen to ourselves and also welcome our brother back. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Reverend Mike. We'll go to our brother
Jacob.
Michael Manak. Unmute yourself. Yep, go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. I don't know whether you are going to hear me well, because the noise at the background, I cannot tell exactly whether it is from me or from your side.
Yeah, from your side, but just go ahead. We can hear you a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you once again. My name is Michael Manak Maria. I would start first with how did I come to know Anthony Makuac until this stage where we are now. We met in Bumbek. That was before the war, in elementary school, Bumbek 2. It used to be called Bumbek 2 then, and it is now called the Komboni. That was where we met. We happened to be classmates then. So we started our school until when we reached grade 3. That was when we parted, when the war broke out. And we went our different ways. I went to Khartoum briefly. And then when I came back, we found that the school was closed and there was no chance for us again to return. In 1988, late 1988, that was when I left home for Ethiopia. And it was Penyidu when we met again the second time. So at that particular time, we happened to be in the same group again. Then the classes were organized, become classmates at that particular time again. So we stayed in Penyidu, and we began to go to school as classmates. We become roommates. We were in the same platoon, the same group, that was Katiba, which is battalion group 1. We went for training. When we went for training, there were 2 batches. There was first batch, which we did not attend. Then we went to the second batch. And in that particular time, we went and we were again in the same group, in the same battalion. That was the first battalion in second batch in Penyidu. And Anthony became my sergeant major, Rekibawal, and I was Chawish. That was sergeant, and the current honorable minister in Lake State, Matiang Dengwidit, was our soul. So we finished our basic training then, and then we went back to schools. In 1991, we left Penyidu, and we were heading to Eastern Africa, Eastern Equatoria. We departed now, and Anthony Makuac remained in Penyidu. So when we reached Rad, that is in the border between South Sudan and Ethiopia, the leadership of the SPLA then decided to divert our journey. So we were asked to go back to Dima because there was a headcount going on then. In order for us to go and join that headcount in the refugee camp and increase the number of refugees, so that the ratio that was supposed to be brought has to be scaled up somehow, because all this food that was brought, some of them were actually used by the movement in some ways. So we went to Dima and we stayed there briefly until the rainy season, and we were asked again now to leave to go to Eastern Equatoria. So we happened to remain in Dima then, and we stayed there, and I was together with Michael Kwe. Michael Kwe, we used to be in the same group together with Anthony Makuac, but he was ahead of us. He was in grade 6 and we were in grade 3, so we were having different of 3 classes between us. So we remained in Dima with Michael Kwe, and then we came back in 1991 to Rad, and then to Pakok. From Pakok, that was when the situation became a bit difficult for us, because there were no food brought early in the days and people were starving. So we used to write some letters to some of our friends who remained behind, and not included Samuel and some of our other colleagues, including Lord Pondak, who is now late, unfortunately. He passed on in the States. So they encouraged us to go back, to go and join the Red Army that were coming from Penyidu. So we took it upon ourselves, myself and Michael Kwe, and went back and joined them again. So this was our third time to meet with Andrew Makuac in Pashala. Until when the forces of the government of Sudan joined hands together with the rebel of the Ethiopia, which took over the government, came and attacked Pashala, which led the movement again to ask the leadership of the Red Army We take the J chamber from Pajala and Cook to Narus. This is where we came to when we came to the town of Narus in eastern Equatoria. We stayed there briefly again, and within the same year, Capoeira was attacked, and we were moved. We were moved to the town of Lokichokyo in the border. Then we stayed briefly in Lokichokyo, and we went to Kakuma. In the course of all this, our binding factor, especially myself and Anthony Makuac, plus other colleagues like Michael, Samuel, and the likes of a joke, which was a little bit younger than us. A joke was in a team that was below us with other colleagues like the late Borichut, others like Primo Albino, those of David Malay States now, and so many. So in the course of all this movement that we have been conducting in the borders between Ethiopia and South Sudan, we used to carry our football with us. And in Banjido and Itak in those days, nice school competitions and the competitions among the refugee camps and the military training centers like Bilfam and Zinc and Bonga. This was when we became a little bit more aware of our togetherness as colleagues who were actually bound together by a specific sporting activity like football. So Anthony Makuac outshone actually most of us, given his skill. He was one of the gifted players among us all, if we have to be honest, because he was the best goalkeeper among all the refugee camps, among all the schools. And in fact, we were a little bit older than the rest of the boys, because some of us came from South Sudan who were in school. And majority of the Red Army that were actually coming from Dongole and Bentiu, most of them were kids, and they were coming from the countryside. So when we started the sport activity, because the leadership of the movement actually looked into it, that the unaccompanied minors who came, most of them were actually underage, and on average, you can tell the average age would be around 7.5 to 8.5, around that. So we happen to be a little bit some outliers, because we were on the range of 14 to 18 there. If it is too much, it might be 14 to 16. So some of us were a little bit aware of the rules and the regulations of the games. So when they started the game in Penyudu, we were not having some playing ground. There were no playing fields. So the Red Army were organized in a way that they have to go and clear the nearby bush, and it was labeled in a way that it became a playing ground, and they erected some structures that exactly resembled a formal football pitch. So when we started playing in the early 1989 or the mid 89, the Red Army were like, we used to have this terminology called Nisba. That is whereby everybody can go and claim his share of the pie. So when we go to the field, everybody wanted to join the game. So people began to educate each other slowly in the platoon, in the battalions, or in the groups. So we were like, no, there is no such things like this by here. This is a game that has got rules that has to be followed. So it is played 11 and 11 on the other side. So it picked up quickly, and it was meant actually to engage the kids because most of them were homesick. They were missing parents. They were missing their siblings, and this was one of the elements that was actually meant to engage them, to forget this home longing or home sickness that was actually affecting most of them, together with the church, because in the evening hours we used to have these prayers in every Syria. So it was one of the vital tools that was used by the movement to nurse these little boys that were unaccompanied, that were alone, that were having a lot of issues to deal with. So there were so many other strategies that were put together by the leadership, and this sport activity, plus running, basketball, volleyball, all of them were introduced gradually. But football was a little bit more popular, and one of the reasons it was a little bit more popular was the artistic and acrobatic style of Anthony Makuac that was involved. He has got a dressing code that was a little bit unique among all the other goalkeepers or the players, and his aggressiveness was another thing. His ability also to adapt quickly was another, and he was helping other young players by training them. That is where you have the like of a joke and a Juong. A Juong was in group 2 together with the Carbino. Carbino was one of the senior goalkeepers. He used to replace Anthony Makuac whenever we are playing with some low profile kind of a team. So Anthony will come and play in attack with us, and Carbino will take over the goalkeeping. When we parted later on, like when we left until Kenya, there was one incident that I remember very well. We were in Ogochokyo and we were carrying our books and our balls. So we found that there was a very good football pitch. So we went there in the school and started playing. So when these Turkana boys saw us playing, they were like, these refugees, do they know how to play soccer? So they requested us through Madong William. So Madong came and asked me, Michael, you go and organize yourself. There are these school boys here in Longchok school district who requested to come and play with you. Maybe you can go and try out with them. So I went from one group up to group 12, and there were so many of us. So we came and we went. So Anthony decided to say that I want to play in front. Let Joe go and be the goalkeeper. So we went and played with them. In that match alone, Anthony scored, and we beat them. We beat them 3-0. So that was the last time this boy did not actually ask us again to come and play with them. So you can tell Anthony Makuac is a multi-skilled individual. He was good in goalkeeping, and in front he can be an attacker. He can also play in defense. Those of Baliarma Page, who is now in Juba, is working with the Nile Bird. Still remember him very well. Anthony Makuac also in Peñudo, he picked up, but I mean, volleyball. Are you guys hearing me really?
Yeah, we hear you, yes.
Okay. He became one of the best players in volleyball when they were playing with Itam and Diba. He was instrumental, and they happened to beat them all. So, in conclusion, Anthony Makuac was one of the instrumental individual among the Red Army. He helped a lot in inspiring some of the boys who were actually interested in sport. He made the sport entertaining by deploying all his skill and his love for the sport itself. So we were doing it at the time for the love of the game, not knowing the important element that I mentioned earlier on, which was the reason as to why the leadership of the SPLA introduced the sport. So it has got a lot of reasons that we benefited, and later on we realized when we became grown-up people. The other thing also was the notions of New Sudan that our late leader, Dr. John, used to talk about. The New Sudan that was in making, because according to him and all the leadership of the movement, there was no transition. There was no time that we had to wait until we become a New Sudan for us to start a country. And one example that is striking was when we were separated from Peñudo, the senior classes were removed from Peñudo to Marcus, a training center. And when we were moved there, some of our guys did not actually have some ball. And our youngsters were playing one evening, and they were using these traditional games that are actually played in the countryside. So these boys were actually playing with that, and Comrade Yukuch, which took over from Pianga, happened to come at that particular time, and he stopped when he saw these boys playing, and he called me. And then I came, and he asked me, "Mandak, what's wrong with this boy? Why are they using that? What did they hurt themselves? Maybe somebody can actually throw this stick in the eyes of his colleagues." So I told him, "But we don't have some balls here." He was like, no, this is not true, because we must make sure that you guys are playing the same games that the children of those of John Major was the Prime Minister band in UK. The games that their kids are playing is what you are supposed to be playing here. By tomorrow, we need you to play with football here. So the following day, they went to those of Red Habana, and they went and brought some football for us in Marcus. So we were actually in a making of the New Sudan from the earliest stages when we were kids, and just what that they were doing their part in their different capacities. So they have actually seen the importance of indoctrinating these kids and orienting them at that early stage by harvesting some of the intellectuals from the army. That is where those of Madam William, Adermache, those of Pierre, and those of Nguyen, the likes of Paul Ring, those of Magretio, you can name it. Those of Terekwe, who was our immediate mudir in Group 1. So when they found that there is need for us to bring up these kids in a way that would actually represent the true New Sudan, these intellectuals were removed from the front line. Some of them were in cadet and they were removed from there, graduated immediately to Penyudu. Because of this important. So it was a transition in making. So the sport was not only sport, it was a part of the country in making. So it was not a game. For us, it was just a game. But for the movement, it was a certain strategy of which they were trying to orient us, they were trying to organize us, they were trying to bring the unity through sport and other different activities. I will stop here because there seems to have actually dominated the talk to give the room for some of our friends to have the good. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michael Manak. Welcome the new people. Senator David Amor is here, and also Landit Bak and Madin Ador. I will begin with Landit. Landit is at work, and he asked me to give him the first shot, and then I will go to Senator David Amor. Landit further. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
Yeah, I just say thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I want to begin with it. Everybody hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. We hear you.
Okay. Thank you very much. You hit the nail on the right place. First of all, everybody who is in there, I know them. I want to let you know, Lake Media, these are the really true Red Army today on this platform. I'm impressed because the story that Michael Manek said, I will also repeat it in a different angle. First of all, Anthony Makuac, I want to see you coming to put your picture on so I can see you. Many of you does not know me, but I was a Panan of Group 1. And I will begin with something small, so Anthony Makuac will also be happy, because some people say that Anthony
There
Makuac,
is Anthony. Landit, Anthony can.
yes, I saw him. Anthony McQuay say that the people say that he has forgotten the Dinka language, but I don't believe so, because he has managed to sing one of the songs that I love when I used to be over there, and that song I'm having that song in all the videos that happened in 1980s while I was singing it, and I will repeat it again so you will actually remember that song. The song it says Sudania, 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 Fikala, Sudani, Jeji Sharp, Sudani, PLA, Sudani, Lamaka, Tori,
Lemgecha Bukuler Juba. Let me get up. Dia Sundanda Lil John. Vugu Biego Mutpa Sudan da Jadid.
That song is the song that I always begin. Every time I come in front of people, I always have that song. And I love that song a lot because I have a great meaning of we moving forward. For our viewers who are now in the line now, 59, I just want to let you know when people are saying something very unique or something that in the center of the heart of South Sudanese, people don't come in a big number. But when people are talking something negative, we'll go up to 300, 400 over there, and everybody will watch something negative. But today, I want to let you know the word that I need to put in here for Fanyudu, that including Anthony McQuaid, is should be the fixture of the Geneva Sudan today. Because what Piang Deng Majuk did in Ethiopia is one of the greatest things that should be a roadmap for Geneva Sudan to develop quickly and to also pass the message to all the South Sudanese that I have never seen what is called the freedom of move and the freedom of knowing each other. But when we were in Penyudu in 12 group, the amazing thing that has happened and trigger the future that we are hoping today is the soccer autonomy that was created, and we used to play it inside our, inside our group. It has become a passion and a life for us, and that passion has created the instinct unity inside the Red Army wherever they are. And I do believe all the problem going on in Juba, Sudan, it will be maybe 0.5% Red Army who have changed from whatever created in Panyudu and whatever created after we left Panyudu. To be honest with you, and for those who want to help and maybe support Anthony Makuac, Anthony Makuac was a center of our mission when we were in Panyudu. And Piang Deng Majuk has created it very clearly that there is what is called the autonomy, and we have already witnessed this now in the world. That is why everyone who wants to see the entertainment, he has to watch maybe African like African Cup of autonomy, or Premier League, or in United States here there is also what is called the football, which is the hand, we call it football, but American they call it football. And all these seasons, they are always very important to the public, and they bring attention to the public, and they also make the public to be happy. So when we were in Penyudu, we were not different to the other part of the world, because we really enjoy what like in my team in Group 1, I'm really, really so happy when I saw a lot of people that enjoy our team. When I see Michael Quill, Michael Manek, Lad, and Samuel West and Malo, when I see them on the field, and Anthony Makuac at the goalkeeper, we will see our winning, and we will enjoy what is exactly going on. And let me tell you, it was a great therapy for young people to grow and forget about their suffering. So I would like to give that concise message to all our viewers and to everybody who is in here, because today, if you see where Anthony Makuac was for 27 years, and now he is with us, and we are remembering what he was doing. Like, I know in the side of Mombasa or in Kenya, they call him kangaroo. But let me tell you the reason why the kangaroo. We should have the first people who can give the name kangaroo. Because when Anthony Makuac catch the ball, you will never see where the ball is, but you will see Anthony Makuac rolling in the air. And he will not even hurt himself. And it was like so amazing. So all of us in Penyudu, we have our group, that Group 1 now. We are working on some few things in all our heart. We have a group of Group 1, and we are supporting Anthony Makuac, in our heart, and whether we can give any blessing to him. So for everybody who is in Lake State, that is the story I want to let you know. The unity of our country today would have been attractive to the whole world if we have the style of Penyudu created with the beginning of South Sudan independence, where Lake State will come with their team, and maybe Jangulei State will come with their team, and maybe Western Equatoria will come with their team. There will be nobody will think about killing anybody, but everybody will be entertained looking for your team supporting in every season, because every year there might be 3 autonomy or 4 autonomy. So to be concise and finish over there, I was just coming to give you my heart support and to tell you exactly what is the meaning of Anthony Makuac on the Lake State today. Anthony Makuac told me one thing, and I talked to him on the phone, and I want to let you know That word that Anthony McQuay told me, I'm giving it to you today, and you need to remember. Anthony McQuay said, when we were in Penyudu, we were united. But now I have seen there is a lot of division in our country, which is the true thing. It is not like the way we were. So today, let us take this message to everyone who is watching on this state, that the only thing that can make the country to be more attractive, nothing better than the sport. And we people of South Sudan, we are the most talented people in the world on sport, because you have to know the NBA in the United States, we are there. The Olympic, we are there. But we did not present our country in one single day. So what is going to be the next future? Now, as we see the attractive of the sport, how it will unite people and bring people together. So it is very, very important for everybody who is on this to make sure the talent of Anthony Makuac is very important, and the Anthony is actually show us what we need to do next. And I'm just going to stop over there because I'm quite a little bit busy. The reason I came up because I follow up with this, and I informed Lake State earlier about Anthony McQuack because I didn't know there was a lot of team coming up, but it is very, very important now. Those who are in Africa, Samuel, I greeted you, Samuel West, Anthony McQuack, and Michael Manek. Those who are members of the team during our group in Fenyudu, I salute you, and I'm so happy to be on this forum today to give you my message. And the message I gave you as a title that I can give you, the unity sport can bring people together. And that is the only one thing that I want. Because in my heart, I like to see South Sudan will not talk about Equatoria, will not talk about Barar Ghazal, will not talk about wherever it is, will not talk about Jail, will not talk about Nuer. I want Geneva Sudan to be united, but I want to have it. I have a dream. Geneva Sudan will be the only country who can bring World Cup to Africa if we unite ourselves. And that's where I will aim. And may God bless all of you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Landit. Very, very good. Well stated, please. Welcome, Peter Kane. We welcome you, and happy to see you again, brother. Senator David Amor Majur, you weigh in, and then Peter Kane will follow you straight away.
Yeah, I will follow the state letter. I need to leave now, guys. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity.
You're welcome.
Ameroye. Ameroye.
Ameroye.
Thank you very much. I will speak in Dinka. I'll choose to speak in Dinka. But maybe later on, within the presentation of 1 or 2 minutes, because we are too many over the world, maybe I will just try to come in a different languages altogether. First of all, the topic, I will give thanks to those of Jiang Chenko and the rest who had tried it hard to bring our brother back to us. That is a great thanks. Then the Lake State media and the rest who had done a wonderful and tremendous contribution and recognize the unrecognized hero among ourselves. The first time I was in Group 1 was in February 1988. I was with Manek is there, Kwe, Anthony, Gum Makalip, then Anthony Anay, Gar Matektek. So we had made the field, but later on we are told our field in Group 1 should be made an airstrip. Then we said, okay, then we are going to design another field closer to the airstrip. I was in Group 1, Sireula, with the rest. I was a midfielder with those of Kwe and Manek until in May 16, 1988. Then I went to Bonga to be trained with the Intifada. But before I left, we were in Group 1, and most of us in Group 1, we were made to be the first class of English class of class 3. Then there was class 6 of the Arabic pattern. It happened I was with Makuac and Moses Magog Nial and Peter Kongiel. And then when we were in the school, one of the morning, we had our beloved and the only defender of Group 1. We should remember him, David Mangui. David Mangui died when we went to the classes and we left him in the dormitory, and then he died after us, and we were called from there. I remember Kwe was there, Manek, myself, and Moses Magog, and the rest, including Fanan Matiang. For the first time in my life, to bury a human being like me by that day, we went and buried David Mangui. So when we were back, Anthony was wearing a rosary, and I asked him, "Are you a Catholic?" And he told me, "Yes, I'm a Catholic." I told him, "Okay, me too, I'm a Catholic." Then I said, "Why don't we have to organize our prayers?" Then we went and talked to Ustaz Kamich. Maybe you may know him later on. And most of us.
You mean Carlo Kami?
Carlo Kamich. Yes, Carlo Kamich. Then we founded a chapel, a small chapel in Group 3, because Group 3, there was a small clinic under a tree. Chwechok was open, every morning. But on Sundays, kalo kanisa da, Catholics. So this is what we had founded, the faith of the church. And we proceeded until when I went myself to Father Benjamin Madol and talked to him. Father Benjamin was assigned by the UN to distribute clothes to us, also some food, emergency foods, kind of. But we went and convinced him to come and join us, Choicho Group 3. Then we continue to preach the gospel. We come, it had only an hymnal written in Arabic, and Manek is there. and Quay. Myself, I was an English partner, and Peter Kongiel, now the current Under Secretary, the Minister of Roads, Engineer Kongiel, and Victor Dengor, former Deputy Governor in Northern Barzal. And so we thank God for it. The last time I spoke to Makuac was in 1997 in a place called Kitale, Moist Bridge. They came to play. He was contracted by a team from Kakamega. And it happened by then I was teaching in
I think Senator has a network issue. He's frozen. All right. I think is not Peter Kane. You can just go ahead, and when you come back, we'll pick up where he left. Laura unmute here.
Thank you. Thank you, Brother Isaacs, and all Judge Lamer on the platform. And to Brother Anthony Makuac himself. Personally, Anthony Makuac doesn't know who I am. By then in Kakuma, I was a kid. I was one of those kids that, growing up and try to be Anthony by all means, especially in soccer field. The reason I'm here, I don't have much story to tell about Makuac that I know, but I happen to know Makuac when he was a keeper in the camp, and he also was friends to people that I live with, those of Lad Mabur, William Mayamakir, and and um, and Konmatsu, who was the second keeper to Makuac. It is a miracle. I'm not one of those people who were thinking Anthony might not be with us. I remember the last time two things that I remember last I saw Anthony was the last game he had as a keeper for South Sudanese, Bas Congolese, at the soccer field, which is perhaps now is still a unity primary secondary school or a distribution center. That was the last time I saw Makuac in a soccer field. It was phenomenal. I believe the game is either we lost the game or it was a draw. But Makuac Chon is usually skilled at the best keeper we had as a Judge Lamer and also maybe refugees. Another second time, probably that was the last time I saw Makuac was probably in '98. He and Ustaz Achor, they have a personal beef, so they had usual Sudanese, when you guys did not have a good time, probably that was the last time. I'm not saying it in a bad way, but as a remembrance, when was the last time I see Anthony Makuac? My point here is simple. It would be great for Makuac himself to tell his story, how he lost from from his colleague Judge Lamer up to this day. Uh, Usually, when one tells the story, it gives more a lot. Probably we most of you guys who have met him in person might have uh, the inside story exactly how he he lost from all these years up to today. And I urge those who are writers and that, to give Anthony Makuac a chance to tell his story. Um, Also, I am hoping, and I never doubt a miracle. His close friend Lad Mabur went missing the same way because I remember Lad back in Kakuma, he went to Khartoum, and then from Khartoum he went to Egypt, and then from Egypt and back to camp. Uh, Personally, the last
Lada Nam was that
uh,
too. Lada Nam, Lada Nam was with us.
okay, that's unfortunate. Yes. So it would be really incredible story to tell, whether in books or in videos, uh, because uh, I'm sure there are other Jechalamir out there who are not who are not connected to South Sudanese or their own community and family, but might find out. It is the same way we, those who have came to United States, we have been known as the Lost Boys, and yet some of us happen, to know their relative, and they are not considered Lost Boys anymore. So this is the same history the Anthony had. Uh, he was lost, but he never being lost at all. He just have no that opportunity, like Anna of us who was still in the camp, because uh, I know I used to know for sure Anthony was actually sponsored by the team from Tanzania. That's how I know. That's what the last time history I know when I asked, where is our own best keeper, Anthony Makuac, and people like, oh yes, a team from Tanzania have sponsored him, so he's the best goalkeeper in Tanzania. Uh, so anyway, that's my little story there about Anthony, and I am hoping all of us as a JHL Amer, we have to look out for each other. Uh, Here is a chance uh, to to make sure Anthony McQuarrie back on his feet and fit within ranks of JHL Amer. Uh, Otherwise, I will not connect this thing to anything to do with South Sudan, whether it is a peace or a politic, because uh, this is pure a brotherhood and a family member that we have found. So I will leave it here for the rest and for those who knows Anthony more than I do to tell more about him. But I'm glad we have a brother with us today. Is not a lost man anymore. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Peter Kane. Appreciate your remark. I will yield it back to you, Senator
Let,
David, to finish your uh,
yeah,
story.
thank you. Thank you once again. I had network problems, and by then I was deployed in Itang, and we played the first Marajan, the first tournament from Dima, Bilpam, Bongo, and Itang. Then I was playing for Itang, and somebody went and advised him. I was a midfielder with those of Mahmoud Solomon, who is now a minister of Interior. Then those of Kokab, those of Wal Richard is in, maybe he's watching here, and the rest from Itang. So when we went to Panyudo, we were almost beating Panyudo. But they came out in thousand. Kwe majen deep ke, big deep. Kulo na we kwa jitang bago game ko I train kumedani. So we got scared. Kulo wa buk tuin kewe. Even the referee, was scared until when we lost 2-1 to Panyudo. And when we went, we played in Itang, then we had also a crowd, but not like the one of Panyudo. But somebody went and advised Anthony that this striker, you have to harm him because Anthony is too strong physically. And that's what I like from Jacob Matiang before describing him, that when he catches the ball, you could not see the ball, but you see him rolling instead of a ball. And we were there with those of Makuera Juong, myself, and the rest of the team from Itang. And the last time I met him was in Moy's Bridge. He was coming from Kakamega, and I spoke to him. I told him, why don't you go back? And then we see how best you can go to school. And he told me that he is getting paid in Kakamega. And I told him, why don't you come? The ISIS of Rumbek is here. Because I know him, he's a Catholic. Like I said, in the burial of our colleague David Mangui, this is where we came back to found our church, the Catholic Mission, until when we convinced Father Dominic Mutong to join us, Father Benjamin Madol, who is our actually the real a true priest, and he stood with us. He trained us a lot. So, Brother Anthony, you are welcome. And any other lost boys, as Peter Kane put it, we are in need to regroup again once again, in order. This is a good memory, and I will give others a chance. My last message is that let's try to find more of our colleagues, especially those of you who lives abroad, have an opportunity to to contact us, because after I left, the last time I saw Michael Quay and Manek was in July 1993. No,
The network came in again. Yeah. Yeah, it's a very, very good time. Anthony Makuac has really started regrouping of all Jesh Lamer and his colleagues, the old school colleagues as well. I, in particular, I didn't go to Ethiopia, but I'm one of the old colleagues in Sudan Gadim, as brother Michael put it before, when we used to go to Rumbek 2, Komboni. So before that time, before I joined Komboni, Rumbek 2, I was in Marsafakam. I was studying in Marsafakam, Arabic. And then we were transferred by my father. He's a medical assistant in Rumbek. He sent us to Rumbek 2. So this is where I met those of Anthony, and children of my choice, not Boanyadeng, not Black, Pantera Wing. All these boys, they use the group that work with Anthony. They live in the neighborhood, and we used to play soccer in Medanalala. I think Michael Manak will remember this. I got injured. I stepped on the Nima for Medanalala Panamafas Cotton Yachi Nima Kaji Bedong Yachi. and then I got it got infected, and I had tetanus. Tetanus kena jata don't knock. Father Benjamin Madola Kut and Father Joseph Palerino, I jala ben ko wal, ya jaban tom, and I don't remember anything by that time because I was really half dead. But I was told after I became alive that the whole school, the headmaster Alfred Mathieu, brought the whole school to our house, to our compound, to come and pray for me. That things has happened after I just got recovered. I was told this story, and all the colleagues, when I rejoined the school again, everybody said that welcome back, Isaac, welcome back, Isaac. So Anthony is a very good guy. He was really rough anyway by that time. He used to beat us up. If we just misbehave with him, he will slap you badly or knock you down. So we do fear him. So Anthony, I can say this his appearance is a reunification for all of us, and will be the beginning of coming back together. What I'm appealing to all our viewers, our colleagues, friends, Anthony need three things. We need to rehabilitate him, treatment, and also we need to bring him back to our team to be a healthy man, to have a house that he can live in happily and work again with people. We have seen him before he got fracture, and it need treatment. That thing is easy, can be treated again. They can the medical expertise, they can break it and treat him again. So please, let's join hand together. The little that you have will make it different. We contribute to help him fit in. Even his story is not yet the right time to ask him a lot of questions. We need to treat him first and to rehabilitate him to fit into the society or in the group. And then after that, I'm quite sure what Peter Kane has said is true. The writers will write a book, a very good book about this. This is a legend. He's a great gentleman. And we will never forget those who took care of him. Like our brother who is now with us in the studio, Benson, you are a hero and you are really blessed for what you have done. So thank you all. I will yield microphone again back to you, Mike. If you need to weigh in, you can just tell your part of the story as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Isaac Cheng and Abraham Madid, my colleagues who are online from different part of the countries in America, Australia, Europe, and other part of Africa. Thank you. This show is a great show. You've had a lot of testimonies from Jesh Amar. I just picked it from the song. The song Sudanese was composed by Ayuel Bag, myself, and Atim Madaj when we were in Tisar in Medan with Panyedu. Like Manek said, when we went to Panyedu in 1987, majority of the young people, the Red Army, were from the countryside. A very few of our colleagues, the highest standard they had reached at that time, I think, was primary 6. And some of us, including myself, we went and started the ABCD from Panyedu. And we know from the beginning, establishing of Panyedu was really a pain for all of us. A lot of us went through a traumatic event. People died, people were sick, different sort of sickness. And when we started being mixed into groups, psychologically we were being transformed. We were also being prepared to leave alone the tribal chain and sentiment and begin to embrace ourselves as comrades, embrace ourselves as brothers and sisters from different region of the Sudan then. And I was in the first mixture, went to group 8, and then from group 8 I went to group 6. In group 6 I was Panan, the group 6, and in our group I was not a very good footballer, but we have David Malay, as mentioned before by Michael Manek. David was in our group, and he was in our company, Syria Vitana, that was headed by Jal Kur. So we were also very good, not in morale only, but in football. But our bigger headache at that time was Group 1 because of Makuac. We would say when our strikers were really running very well and were singing, as soon as they reach almost to the goal, Makuac would jump and catch the ball. And when he jump also, some of his legs will be just like this. So if you come, you can be injured. So you also feared Makuac. So many people in Geshamer, I think, if those who were from 9 years and above, nobody cannot remember Makuac. Makuac was known by many people, and when we had this Mubarak for all the refugee camps, David Amor just disappeared online, but nobody threatened them. I wish David was here. We were gifted because we had Makuac on our side, and to score a goal when Makuac is keeping the goal, it was not easy. So we took the cup, and the Jejamar started lighting the fire. It was in a celebratory mood. That's when we started lighting the fire, and then we start singing, Itang o itang wenu dakalna pijeb. Bonga o bonga wenu dakalna pijeb. And in 90, when I went to Bonga with some of my comrades, where we were actually cheated that we are going to one of the countries where we can further our studies, only to find ourselves in Bonga. The Talimjin or the trainers, the first thing we were told, sing that song, eh? You said Bonga wenu, itu dakal to Bonga wen. So where did you put Bonga? And we were shy. We don't want to sing because we know what is behind. And we were being forced to sing it. Then we were told to roll yourself. So Makuac, again, just maybe to get back a bit, like I said, I was from the countryside when I went to Panyedu. We were very good in dancing, local dances, and I was also very good in wrestling. So in Panyedu, there was soccer, there was also Ruksa Chabia, the national cultural dance from different tribes and different ethnic groups. I was in that group. Nyal Makedid, Jog, Denkaline, Anan. We had the Frika Mangok that was formed, we were part of this, and then we went to Itang, with Makuac, we went to Zing, we went to Bunga, and that was the attachment that we had at that time with Makuac. He was elderly than us at that time, but somebody mentioned Makuac was really he was really giant. He was a legend. He was tough physically. He was, and so when we all the 12 group were put together to compete against other refugee camp, our hero of the day would be Makuac. And actually, I googled the best goalkeepers in the world, and among the top 25 goalkeepers, the leading one is Manuel Neuer. Manuel Neuer, he's a German. Then somebody, Alson Becker, and then somebody, Richard Mendy. But at that time, what made me to Google this, at our capacity and our environment in Panyudu at that time, Makuac was our best goalkeeper of all the three refugee camps, Panyudu, Itang, and Dima. Makuac was our Ronaldo. He was our Messi at that time. And the contribution that the football and all the extracurricular in Panyudu played in our psychological reform, it cannot be underestimated. We all know the life of today. When you are stressed, you are told to do a lot of exercises, and the football and the singing at that time really help us to treat us mentally. And when I came back from Bonga, I was in Pochala. I came to Naruz. I went to Buna, and went Kapoita Fall. I was in front line in Buna, and I didn't come with the rest of Red Army who came to Logchokyo and then Kakuma. At somewhere in 1983, I became privileged. I met Father George Kinga, and I was brought to Nairobi direct. And from there, we used to hear about Makuac. Makuac has been taken by another team. Makuac went to Mombasa, and from there, a team took him to South Africa, and probably he's in Europe. Those were the stories. And then later on, the story changed that Makuac was actually killed. And it was devastating. So when I was in a wheel, because I've been in a wheel for 13 and a half years with the Well Food Program. So I when I was in a wheel, a joke came. And I asked a joke, where is Makuac? Tell me the story of Makuac exactly. He just mentioned, as Manek, I think, mentioned, he was picked by the Turkana something. Then from there to Kakamega. Kakamega, he was again picked by Western Stars to Mombasa. And from there in Mombasa, nobody really knew what happened. It was later on that Makuac told us what happened. But all these, everybody, all the Jeshamer actually, or most of them, knows Makuac is dead. Others who were optimistic, maybe if he's not dead, sometime he will appear. When Benson had a conversation with Abraham Ngorachek in Jamjang, and we have a small also WhatsApp group where Ngor and myself and others are in. So Ngor got the story and got the photo of Makuac and drop it in our WhatsApp group. And I look at it, I read it again and again, and I said, guys, can I have a number of Ngor? So I was given the number. So I called Ngor. Ngor, is this true? Said, yeah, it's true. This guy is with us in Jamjang with UNHCR, and he says Makuac is in his house. So I told him, give me the number of give me the number of Benson, give me the number of the wife, because we really need to find out. So he gave me the numbers, and I contacted Ajak Deng Shanko immediately, and I shared the contact. Ajak immediately picked the interest on this. He called Makuac. Actually, he did a conference call. He called Makuac, and then I was online. So he talked to Madame Benson, and then we said, can you call for us Makuac? And we had conversed Makuac briefly, but because of the unfortunate event Makuac went through, and the picture that I told you, he was giant. You look at him from the photo, we start feeling doubt, this probably is not Makuac. But when he started mentioning Michael Manek, he mentioned Madong William, he started mentioning Piang Deng, he mentioned Taban. I said, this could be Makuac, really. This could be the man. And Ajak, it was around 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. in the morning in Australia. So Ajak went and put something on the wall, and that's how the story went viral. So I want to thank our brother Benson, who is online. We want to thank Abraham Ngorachek for their contribution in helping Makuac to be found. As Nairobi team, we've been working together with brother Michael Manek, who is in Juba. We had a great team here, a small team that is dedicated. I want to recognize the role played by the South Sudanese embassy in Nairobi. Ambassador Chol Maud immediately, opened the door and gave us a chance to meet him on the spot, and we discussed quite a very instrumental ideas on how Makuac can be helped, can be rehabilitated, can be reintegrated into our country. Makuac at that time, when we brought him from Mombasa to Nairobi, he had no single document. There was nothing that showed Makuac is a South Sudanese. But with the help of the embassy and the team in Juba, Makuac was able to get his national ID, national passport, and the team here begin to contribute. We sat and begin to mobilize a little fund here and there, and my brother Manek is also doing the same. But our zeal, our interest as the Red Army, as a comrade, is to really make sure the Makuac is fully reintegrated into the society. Makuac is physically rehabilitated. Makuac is mentally also rehabilitated. And Makuac is reunited with his loved ones, the family. And all of us will be happy to see Makuac fully on his feet. I know I lost my immediate brother in 1979, but we found him this year in June, when he was 42 years away. So I know the pain that the relative go through, the family members, the friends go through when they lost the loved ones. And Makuac picture remain in Jechamer in Panyadu. So I want to thank you. I've taken a lot of time, but I want to thank you and also encourage all of us to do something, sacrifice, use our network and our sphere of influence to ensure that Makuac is reintegrated into the community. Thank you, Brother Isaac and all colleagues. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Mike. We will be closing the show because we have now went for almost 2 hours, and we are going to organize another show that will be suitable with the most of the people as well. Those who miss out today or tonight, is now a day for me here is 6 a.m. in the morning. Um, we have some of colleagues like those of Samuel Weth and Lat Majur and the rest of the Red Army. They are here in Australia. We need to look into the right time that can suit all of us to come again. And we keep continuing asking all our brothers and colleagues, Judge Lamer, to do something. So this what you have started, guys, we really appreciate it, especially Brother Michael Manak. You are doing great job. I had the WhatsApp group that you have been reporting and talking there. I have two members of my media, Lagos State Media, two members with you there, Garmabok and Abraham Malik, and they always report to us the work that you guys are doing. So you are doing good job, and we will back you up to continue spreading the message to the people all around the world. So I will give each of you the last minute chat for the closure, and then we will close the show. Thank you. We'll start with you, Michael Manak. Michael, do you hear me? It's getting late in your areas, East Africa. I think it's around 11 now, or going 12. So yeah. So I think Michael can hear me. I will go to Ngor. Ngor, the floor will be yours with Benson to say your last word, mean your last statement to our followers and viewers who are watching us now. Hello, Ngor. Can you? Yeah.
Yes, Isaac.
Yep. Your last shot. We are coming
Okay.
for closer. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Lake. Before I go into what I would want to say is if we have any other day to schedule the interview with Benson Muwasi, who was with Anthony Makwaji all these years, or it is okay this way. And then for me, I will also go into what we are here for, to tell you people how I get to know Anthony Makwaji and why I was still very curious to know where he was until he was found. So, do we have any day that the other interview will be scheduled so that you can hear the versions of Benson Moasi?
Yes. We will do it by Saturday. Uh, no, I think Saturday.
Hello,
Hello, day 12. We have another show coming up. We will be communicating with you. We will let you know the day and the date
hello.
and the time. Hello.
Are you getting
Just leave
me?
it with us. Yeah, I'm getting you. Leave it with us, and we will communicate to you the time and the date. Hello, Ngor. Did you get me? Okay. It's not hearing me.
Brother Abraham Ngor with Benson.
Hello, Ngor. I think they have network issue as well. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Network. All right. Kalas, I will leave Michael Manak behind to make the closure, and we'll go to Reverend Jacob. Jacob, further.
Hello?
Yeah, hello, Ngor. What was said before, I said that I will not give you the perfect time now. That we will schedule the next show to hear more from Benson. That will be communicated to
Okay.
you after we had a meeting as a team. We need to look into our diary, the shows that we have in the upcoming weekend. So we will let you know.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. That's very much appreciated. Just to add my voice to what the colleague said about Anthony Makuac. You know, my name is Abraham Morachek, as said by Manyanyang Yuang before. You know, I get to know Anthony Makuac in Ethiopia because I was in Group 7, Triatalta. And all along, you know, Anthony Makuac, as said by many comrades of the Red Army, was the top goalkeeper. He was a good player, and all people were inspired by his role in football. So all of us knew him, and even the children who were very young by that time, whenever they play, you know, there was this kurashrap, you know, the sock. They put in some clothes and they roll it and they tie it properly, and the young one used to play with that. So whenever they play and someone catches the ball, they catch that and they say Anthony Makwai. Whenever you caught a ball, then they just say Anthony Makwai. So Anthony Makwai got to be known by everyone, including the youngest, the small children, because of his role in football. So Anthony Makwai became the role model in football, in sport, all over Penyudu, and even it extended to the other camps that used to play together with Penyudu. I remember some of the guys who were in Dima, those one who did not even come to Penyudu, but they used to hear about him because whenever they come decide to play, they get beaten. And when they are beaten, then they know they used to go and pass that message that they were beaten because of the goalkeeper, Mr. Anthony Makwai. So Anthony Makwai became the popular figure among the Red Army. For me, we separated in 1992 when they entered Kakuma because I didn't go until 1999 when I went for a visit in Kakuma for 21 days, and that was when I was told about the disappearance of Anthony Makwai. So it was just in my mind that he disappeared, and all his disappearance were very mysterious until some were saying, were presuming him dead in South Africa, and all this as narrated by the colleagues. So I had that in my mind because there was no one who was very sure to confirm him dead. He was just, you know, he got disappeared and he was just presumed dead somewhere there. So that give an avenue that that person may be alive or may be dead. No one can, you know, confirm that until on 29th of September, when you know, we got to discuss with my colleague Benson's, and we were talking about the interdependency, where your problem become your colleague problem or your neighbor's problem, and your neighbor's problem become your problem. So that was what we were discussing. From there, Benson Mwasi was able now to come up with the top secret of his family because he has not been talking about it to me. But now, because of the discussion that stimulated him to tell, you know, one of the things that he had in his family, that he is with one of the Dinka gentlemen in his house, someone who lost contact with his family, and he doesn't know who is alive and who is dead in the family since those days of liberation struggle. and he want to come back to the country, but he has nothing. So he had wanted to come with me recently when I came back from leave, but I did not have enough money to bring him. So I am planning to bring him to South Sudan in December. I asked him what is his name. He said Anthony. Anthony who? Anthony Makuac. And you know, Anthony Makuac was the popular figure. There was no any other name related to him. He was the only person that is known, and his disappearance was in Kenya. So if someone's name appeared to be in Kenya, that means it may be attached to the person that we know who disappeared there. So I asked him. I changed from there when he mentioned the name of Anthony Makwaja. Came from there and asked him, my friend, you have to be honest. What are you trying to say? And then the other colleague who were there, called Darius, asked me, is it someone that you know? I said, my friend, this is a very person that we have been looking for. He was presumed dead in South Africa those days. This man is a nationalist, and he is one of the best footballers of the Red Army. So then two colleagues came, those one who were former members of the Red Army also. We had Samuel Perishok and also James Mungon. So when they came, I asked them to come to listen to this story so that they become also witness, because it is something that we need to know curiously. So I told them that, can you listen to this story? This man is saying that he's with Anthony Makuac. They were also surprised and become a little bit skeptical also, because someone who was presumed dead, we have to be careful to get the information. So I told them that, okay, if that is, if that is the case, just leave it with me. I have to follow it up until I get the right information. So I asked Benson to give me the contact, and he told me that Anthony Makuac does not have phone, so he can only be gotten through his family. From there, okay, I asked him to contact his family, but he did not have the airtime by that time because we are in a distant location from the trading center. So then we stopped from there. The following day, which was the 30th, well, when now I came back in the morning and I asked him to call, and he reached out to his family. Then Makuac was put online. So when I asked Makuac that who he is and what he has been doing, where he was, Makuac was able now to tell me that he was part of the Red Army in Penyudu and also in Kakuma. In Penyudu, he was in Group 1 and he was the goalkeeper. You know, all those things were confirming about Anthony Makuac. But his language, his Dinga language was diminishing, that he could not express himself very well. But the voice was like him. Then I said, okay, can you people get the photo and send it to me for confirmation? So the photo that went viral is the one that I requested. So the family of Benson Mwasi took the photo and they sent it to me. Now I was looking at it, and you can imagine, me personally, we separated those years in 1992. So 1992 to date is quite, long time. And I was not very close with him because I was in Group 7. They were in Group 1, so we were very far. Only that he was the footballer. That's why he became popular to all of us. So when I saw the photo, I said, okay, the person who will help me to confirm again this would be a joke, because a joke was his, trainee. He trained a joke. So Anthony was the mentor to Ajokwal. So I had to give a phone call to Ajokwal that, do you know the whereabouts of Anthony Makuac? He said no. He narrated the same story that he was even presumed dead some time back, but no one knows exactly the truth behind that. So I told him, okay, I talked with someone who sound like Anthony Makuac. I have here the photo with me. So can you send me your WhatsApp number? He said this is even the WhatsApp number. So I sent it to him. When he saw, he confirmed that this is actually Anthony Makuac. But I was still skeptical, because there was one thing that I need to confirm again from Anthony to declare now to the public. So the following morning was Saturday, and we had a governor, the chief administrator, who was visiting to our area. So we stayed the whole day in Raleigh, so we could not come back. The following morning was Sunday. That was when now I came to take the number, and I called him for final touches. The last statement. One, and he was able to confirm to me that he trained Mr. Ajokwal. That was where now I was now sure that he's the right person. So
I think he has a network issue, Abraham Ngor. Okay, while we're waiting, Reverend Jacob, you can unmute yourself and just give your 1 minute remark.
Thank you, Brother Isaac
no,
Chiang,
that's
colleague
Ngor
in this
came back.
show. Okay.
Yeah.
Come back on.
Yeah, continue, Ngor.
yes.
Continue just to wind up.
Isaac,
Yes.
I'm getting you.
Yeah, continue to finish
You
your
wind up, Abram.
can you hear me, Abraham? Hello? Hello? All right.
Abram Ngor, can you hear Isaac?
Yes, now I can hear you.
All right.
Okay,
What
Isaac
was
is
your
saying,
statement?
Hello, Isaac.
Yep. Continue to finish up your statement. Just wind it up. Wrap it up.
Hello.
Hello.
Abram Ngor, Isaac is saying you wind up, you wrap it up.
Hello, Isaac.
If you can hear him.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, then
Hello.
it's on his side network.
The network is becoming so poor.
Yeah. All right. We give it to Reverend Jacob.
Thank you one again, brothers, on the show.
Hello.
And my special thanks to colleagues of Lagos State Media for organizing this important show for our brother Anthony Makuac. It's unfortunate that the network in Nairobi is not supporting this, but we will try to make sure that we got the phone that is able to support the what we call this yard where the media is being covered. When I speak before, I could not mention how I knew Anthony Makuac. My colleague Abraham Ngorachek said he was in Group 7 in Triatalta. Thank you, brother, for meeting you again. I was also in Group 7 in Tiraraba, Wasila Tani. I did not have much interactions with Anthony, but I happened to be one of the spectators, those young JHM spectators who used to stand watching at the football match. And when Anthony catch the ball, we jubilate a lot and we are always very happy. And especially when our team from Pinyudo is playing against either Itangs or Dima or Bonga. Mike has put it very clear before how we used to behave. I remember one time when we play against Itangs, and we happened to beat Itang with 2. I remember by then it was 2-0, and it was the big jubilations when we used to sing that Itang PJ 0, and that word 0 being chanted by so many thousands of Red Army, angered by then the chairperson of Itang and our chairperson of Pinydo was very happy, and he was being cared on people, especially Jurkuj Baraj by then. So Anthony is somebody who is really very important to us, especially we the Jeshamer who are in Pinydo, and that is back among us is a great joy to all of us. So I will not speak much, but only to thank God for this important thing that we have witnessed in our lives. One person mentioned it before that Anthony Makuac has now reunited us together. We came together with the Red Army, and now we are welcoming our brother. If I can remember when we met him for the first time in Nairobi, we were thinking our songs of the Red Army were not mine, that we were in a certain restaurants where we can disturb the rest of the people, but we were really jubilating and we're very happy. So colleagues, I would encourage you to continue bringing your support so that we rehabilitate our brother and we make sure that his treatment, especially his leg, which is in a good condition, not in a proper shape, have to be supported, and that need a lot of money. And my appeal to all of us is to use every opportunity that we had as members of the Red Army and the colleague within this republic. Because now, Anthony, the question that we asked our brother Anthony before is whether he heard that our country independent is now an independent nation, whether he heard that the former leader has died. We asked him and he heard over the radio, because I think Anthony was in a remote villages of Kenya, because if he was in Mombasa town, he would have interacted a lot with the many Kenyan who knew South Sudan. So my special thanks to Benson for keeping Makuac for that long. So brothers, I will not, time has gone, and we'll need to speak again on this note. We are always in contact with our brother Anthony, and we'll try to mobilize our effort to support him. So let's support our brother Anthony. Amir Oye.
Thank you so much, Reverend Jacob. Michael, the floor will be yours for your final remark, and we will close the show, and we will organize again to come up here for that.
Okay. You guys able to hear me well?
Yes, we can hear you.
You're hearing me, right?
Yeah, we can hear
Yes.
you loud and clear. You are very good. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you once again, Brother Isaac and the colleagues. You know, the beauty of this conversation is the riches that has been shown by the quality of contribution that each of you have actually put into this. Senator, when he was here, he mentioned some interesting stuff. One of them was the founding of the church, because church has also played the most significant role in our lives in different ways. You know, when we arrived in Penyudu, I was able to see the importance of the role of the church, because early in the morning hours, when we are waking up at around 5 to 4 there, or 4 to 5. And in the evening, when we are about to end the day, people prayed before they go to work. They prayed after they finish the day. And this was actually geared toward that psychological preparedness that was mentioned by Brother Mike. It's important that we have our pastor here, of which those of Father Madol and those of Garanganyet must be proud of, together with those of Mayor Mathian, who was also in the SPLA, SPLM radio then. On the side of sport, the movement had actually invested at the time in sport for that same reason as well. And it become one of the important credentials, in fact, to our leaders, those of Piang, Jukuj, and Tabandeng, plus Comrade Tim Indima, and those of Majanga God in Bonga, and the like. So sport played that role, so was the church. And those were actually considered by the movement because we were fighting a war, not with some sort of blind eyes. People were vigilant and mindful of some important aspect of a country to be. And it was true, we played that role, and Anthony was one of them. Quote Mathuj that was mentioned earlier is now here. And we tend to be together in different times. We met Quad in Itang in 1990s, I think 1990 exactly, when we went and played with them. And then briefly, they went back and we went to Peñido. Then we came to Dimba. That is where we met them second time, and we became close friends. So again, we met in Peshela. When we went back, they came after us because they were bringing some reinforcement for that fight that I mentioned earlier on. And when we left from Peshela, then we joined them. They were also ordered to leave together with us until we arrived in Narus to Kenya. They were the one who remained behind with those of Anthony. After we left, we went to Zimbabwe. From Zimbabwe, that's when I went to Canada. In Canada, we met again with the Quad in the same city in province of British Columbia. Now here we are. So when this news was actually broken by Brother Ngor Mach and Jag Dengchenko, I was out that day and my data was not on. So when I came in, then I got connected to the Wi-Fi and the messages were just popping up quickly. And there were so many of them. So when I opened it, I saw this link that was shared in my inbox that Anthony Makuac is found alive. And I didn't read the story. I rushed straight away to the picture and zoomed in. And I saw the picture and I was like, damn it, this is the guy. And I burst into tears and I dropped the phone. I called the guy that I was with, Makis, my friend that we always hung out together here in Juba. I told him, man, Makuac is alive. And my voice was shaky. I was crying. And I told him, just drop the phone, call those of Port and others. So that way spread the news. After I finished communicating with Makis and others, I was now reviewing all the messages. And I also went to the story that was written by Jack Dengchenko. I read it. And two things happened to capture my interest. One was a Kenyan guy who said, "This guy has always been here with us, and he has been telling us that he is from Turkana." And then I went to the other comments, but the top of this story was this mentioning of the leaders that he still remembered. That was Gerald Piang, Rindweng, Madong William, Fidel Majok. Now, in the comment, there were some of the Red Army who were still skeptical. And they were like, this guy might be one of the Kenyan scammers who is trying to scam South Sudanese because of the high profile of the guy. And I began to analyze the comments and this story plus the picture itself. But I was already convinced when I saw it and I started crying, I was convinced. So one thing convinced me. When he mentioned this General Piang, Janafil, and Madong William, these three guys, you can Google them and you can find them. But Fidel Majok, you cannot remember such a name, even if he's one of the general now. You must be either you are one of the Red Army or you were one of the teachers in Penulo. So that one alone convinced me. The second thing was when I talked to a joke, and a joke told me, you know what, man, I talked to Anthony this morning. I was like, what? In the morning, I almost blamed him why he didn't call me. But I just took it that way, and I asked him, do you have the number? And he was like, yes, I have the number. Just give me now. Just a second. I will text you the number. Then in less than 5 minutes, he called me back. And he was like, I just spoken to Makuac, and I told him that Michael Manu is going to call you now. I was like, okay, thanks. I took the number. Then I called him right away. So when I called him, he was like, who am I talking to? I told him, you are talking to Michael Manak. And he was like, oh, my brother, Michael, long time. Where is Michael Quay? That connections, linking my name to Michael Quay, plus that of Fidel Majok, convinced me this is Anthony Makuac. So I just told him, man, we are not going to continue talking. We thank God that you are alive. Do you know somebody by name Emmanuel Kachuol? And he was like, yes. For you, Isaac, I think you might remember Emmanuel Kachuol. He was also one of the boys from Medanalala. I was in Malal-Kodi. I just
Yeah,
heard about
I know it.
Medanalala, and we used to go there. But in those days, boys are actually grouped according to the suburb. I was in Malal-Kodi. You guys were in the Marjet, and those over there were in Akwach.
In Makuac, yes.
And others. So when I got these connections to our names, I was like, man, do you know Kachual? He was like, yes, I know Kachual. I told him, what do you remember about him? He was like, yeah, we used to play with him. He's one of the goalkeepers because he was a goalkeeper for Dima then. And also he knew him back in the days in Rubek. So I told him Kajwal is in Mombasa. Tomorrow morning he's going to get to where you are. Unfortunately, because of his commitment in Mombasa, they had a clearing agency in Mombasa. Kajwal could not be able to get hold of him on time until this young guy, Marco, happened to be there prior to the arrangement to meet with the Emmanuel Kajwal. So, in short, we are thankful to our brothers, especially Brother Ben and his family, the history between us and the people of Kenya is something that is going to be written about, because you can relate the sovereignty of this country to Kenya in one way or the other, because the negotiation of the peace talk, the hospitality accorded to the Red Army that becomes Lost Boys later on, our people who are still there now, our people who are getting education and medical treatment in Kenya, all these are going to be books that will be left for the next generation to benefit from. So we applaud Brother Benz and his family. We thank you for that, and we are doing our best in whatever capacity to make sure that this guy is not going to be just a friend, or you are going to be just some kind of Samaritan who met this somebody that was forgotten by the family or his colleagues or friends, but he is going to be a family member that will be visiting you, because I know Anthony. And for him to be who he is today, for him to be alive, I was telling my colleagues, Mark is here, and Abraham, I told them if this was another person, Anthony would be dead by now. Because I know this guy managed to prevail because of his toughness. And the other aspect is the luck. Anthony Makuac is one of the lucky guys. And I mentioned this in a number of times to my colleagues in Nairobi, because for him to meet them there, for him to be found at that particular time, and for him to re-emerge at the time in a place that is unusual, because if you can connect, this guy is in Mombasa and his family is in Mombasa, but he happened to be in Ruan administrative area. So it was by what I may call in the economic terminology, what they called divine coincidence, because there are so many things attached to this. The unity that the Reverend was talking about among the Red Army, the care, the love, the orientation, the country that they have, and how they are celebrating the reemergence of the brother is something very unusual, is something that all of us must cherish, is something that we must celebrate for the rest of our time with Anthony. Somebody mentioned something earlier on that it is Anthony that need to be given an opportunity to tell us how he got lost and all this. For me, yeah, it is true. He's the very person who can tell this story better than all of us. But in the meantime, he's not at that stage yet. And I want to emphasize this because the shape and the state of his mind and physical appearance and how he's actually transitioning from where he was to what we expect of him. We need to give him a bit of space and time to fully become the Anthony Makuac that we know. Anthony Makuac became known to Kenyans when we had this competition. There was this tournament that was taking place in Turkana district. I believe that was in 1993. And our team was named Kakuma B. And the other team that was of the local Kakuma, the children of the Turkana, they were Kakuma A. So when we went for the district tournament in Lodwar, we beat the 12 teams, both in football and volleyball. And all our teams were taken to Pakot in Kapenguria. So when we went there, we were actually leaving from the semi-arid desert, which was a very hot place, to a place that is a little bit mountainous, which is very cold. And there was something funny that was done by the local school administration in Pakot. They brought in some army guys, and they came and put them in their local teams with the boys. And when we were playing with them, we stood our ground, but they beat us 2-0. But the field was filled to the brim. So when the match ended, they told our administrators, the teachers that were with us, that your team are going to go again with us to the Rift Valley headquarters, that is in Nakuru. We are going to play there, and the final will be played in Kakamega. So when we went to Nakuru, we were now affected by this very cold weather, and some of us did not play. The only person who played in our football team was Anthony Makuac. And I remember very well he happened to serve 2 penalties. And he has got this style of serving the penalty. He doesn't actually hit the ball. He will make sure that he captures it fully. So he served 2 penalties, and he was voted the best goalkeeper of the region that day. So when they were leaving for Kakamega, they asked that Makuac should go with them, and the rest of us should go back. So those of Madong and Usaf Makanathan, they refused, and they were like, no, unless we go together. If you guys don't want us to go together, then we will go back. So they decided to sacrifice Anthony, and we left. So Anthony came back. That was the time they took notes of him. Now, when the TRP, that was Turkana Rehabilitation Project, came to Kakuma, they were coming with this T-shirt written 5-0. And they were trying to mock us. They were teasing. They went to the football pitch and they were trying to take the measurements whether they were actually correct or not. But then we were having this Kawaja, who was a camp manager. I think his background back home in Europe must be from football country. I do not recall exactly where he was. He brought this modern book of football, and every measurement that were actually used were of the latest standard. So when we were preparing to go and play with these guys, they were just teasing us, you guys, you are going to pay today. And when we went to the field, we played with them. We finished first half 0-0. The second half, that was when they scored 1. So they were so surprised that this refugee team could come and play with them like that. And they were one of the teams that was in the league at the national level in Kenya. So this was the second time they came and called it Anthony Makuac, and that was the time they began to influence him. So as you said earlier on to Brother Isaac, we have taken most of the time, and we might need another time because we have been affected badly by the technical aspect of the show. Next time, possibly we can talk more about some other important things that we might have missed. Some of our colleagues who are not with us here will be able to share some of their experience with Anthony Makuac. And as the topic of the show, which is to raise the profile of the case of Anthony Makuac, especially with regard to the fundraising, the way our Red Army reacted globally on the very day that he was discovered was a very encouraging one. And we are here to tell them, continue to do the same to your brother, because you are actually trying to treat him. You are trying to bring him back into his olden days. You are trying to integrate him. So the little that you are contributing online as cash, and the communication that you are doing by sharing the information, all of these are geared towards his rehabilitations, because we are looking beyond past his treatment of his leg. And this is why we have this plan that we are actually putting in place with those of Brother Mike and Brother Valentino Echak, and myself here in Juba, plus those that are outside who are doing the fundraising online, like those of Mayom, those of Garanquad, and those of Landit, who was talking here earlier on, those of Jack Dengchenko, whom we also talked to, and managed to talk to those of Samuel.
Yeah, I think the network has came in again. Network of Juba. Okay, I think I'm running out of time here. I need to see my children off to school. 7 a.m. now. They are going to school, so I need to see them off. We will organize another show in the next few days to come. We will let you know the date and the time. So thank you so much, Abraham Ngor, and thank you so much, Benson, and thank you, Mike, and Reverend Jacob Awan. Thank you all. Our brother Michael Manak, thank you. And all our viewers and those who have been here with us before and they left. On behalf of Lagos State Media Team, I have to say thank you all. Have a good day, good night, or good afternoon for those in USA. We will catch up again. May God bless South Sudan. May God bless Anthony Makuac. May God
Amen.
bless Red Army. We come back together. Thank you so much.
Amen.
Thank you.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you, Brother
Bye.
Isaac.
It's your boy Young Love, I give him that time. Pancho leg stay the punchy America, Banyi Banaban, Pancho leg stay the punchy America, Banyi Banaban, walk on the lake, Kankara, what on the watching, Oga level leg, gear, power, leg, Panda with ya, Panchi America, Banya Dwalavan, Chingatonga Pandon, could you ever buy a check out, Papu Panda Jiro, what they be Dwalavan. Stand up Panchi America, Banyi Banaban, Pancha leg stand up Panchi America, Banyi Banaban, walk on the lake, Kankaro, what on the watching, Oga level leg, gear, power, leg, Panda with ya, Panchi America, Panya Dwalavan, Chingatonga Pandon, could you ever buy a check out, Paku Panda Jiro, what they be Dwalavan.